Hey guys, Chris here from Caroline Miniature Horses. We have another busy day ahead of us. We are getting an early start. It's nice and cool this morning. Temperatures are expected to be in the mid 60s, by the afternoon, which will be really nice. We are working today on putting up a new fence line around our fruit trees and fruit bushes. So that's the big project for the day. We're going to be putting in big corner posts, and hopefully here soon we'll get some wire fencing up and a little more deer protection. So yeah, that's the big project for the day. I see here that the horses have left a sizable pile of hay, and I see another one just across the way. I put 4, 5, maybe even 6 piles out last night. They were each about half a flake each. So this is the majority of what looks to have been one of the piles they put out. It could tell me two things. I would say one of two things. One, it could be that the horses are just not very hungry for the hay and are encouraged, are feeling more encouraged to chase the grass. Could be. Or it could be that this piece of hay or this pile of hay was maybe not as high of quality. I'm going to check it really well now just to make sure I don't see any signs of mold or any other foreign bodies in this pile. It is unusual to have a pile that hasn't been picked over hardly at all. So the second pile I just went to check out, it's very small. It's not a lot of hay, not as much as I thought. And the first pile that I was just checking on a moment ago looks to be good. It still has a relatively sweet smell to it, and I don't see any signs of mold. So I'm going to leave that pile here, and I might just sprinkle a little more of the evening hay on top of it, see if they don't pick through it a little bit better. If not, tomorrow, if I still see that pile, I will just go ahead and spread it out. So no big deal, but it's always a good thing to look into. So as I am doing my morning routine picking of the back paddock, I am just sort of scanning around the piles to make sure I don't see any more of those worms. Like I told you, pretty sure they were from deworming Rocky a few days ago. But I do just want to kind of keep an eye out. Pretty soon here, I don't imagine we'll be seeing any more of them. Yeah, that's just kind of one more thing. We've got a bunch of robins out here. I don't know if you can see them, but there are a bunch of robins out in the field. It doesn't look like they're going to show up, but take my word. The robins are out and about this morning. Another good sign of spring. There's a very interesting bird here. He's out here with the robins. But do you see this little bird? He has these white speckled back feathers and wings. I have no idea. I mean, it has the brown head and the yellow beak, and it even has the red breast like the robin. I think it is some kind of a robin, but that is so super cool. I have never seen one with the white speckled wings before. I've got another thing to research, but that is super cool, guys. I just want to watch them. I'm sure they're looking for worms and little bits of seeds that have come out of the hay. You know, they pick through manure. The birds are great. I mean, they really help us to break things down. They help to share some seeds around. But that little robin right there, I hope he turns around for you again. He's even got the white little light side on his underbelly there, but those white patches on his wings, I'm just fascinated. I've never seen a robin with white spots on his back like this. It's definitely a robin. Has the little robin red breast, has the yellow beak, that dark brownish head, but I have never before seen one like this. It's a pretty special morning. Getting to see that robin with those like white speckles on his back and a little bit of speckling on his chest, that was really cool this morning. I've never seen anything like that before. You know, here on the farm, we just love to like soak it all up, right? You know, the sounds and the sights. We have lots of wildlife. We'll soon be seeing turkeys out in our front field. The birds, you know, we sit outside or standing outside, right? But just to marvel at all of the beauty that's around us, you know, to take it in with your eyes and your ears. We just are so lucky to live in such a beautiful place and to have the time to slow down and to actually take it all in. So I'm so glad I could show you that robin. That was maybe the most exciting thing that I have seen in quite a while. I get this excited when I see an eagle flying overhead. So that tells you something. That robin was really special. I had to stop what I was doing and I had to look up that robin with the white spots. So it looks like that is a form of albinoism, sort of. You know, I'm sure there's a more correct term, but there's a lack of pigment which causes the white spots, and so it's probably a genetic mutation. But that was really cool. I was wondering, you know, is it a new species of robin? But no, he just seems to have some sort of mutation going on with his genetic makeup, but it still made him pretty cool. So he's the coolest robin I've seen. As I am doing my morning check of the paddock and picking, I have just come across a sizable hole here on the ground. I'm gonna get some dirt and try to fill it in, maybe even stick a few rocks in there. You know, I say sizable, it's a sizable hole for a mini. A mini could step in there and really injure themselves. Their hooves are so small. Larger horses, you know, it would be a pretty small hole for them, but I do want to fill that in today because we certainly don't want to have anyone injure themselves. So I might stick a stick in the hole for now, and then I will know where to come back and fill that hole in once I finish my morning rounds. I just found my stick and I'm scanning around. I had a hard time finding this little hole. I'm so glad I found it again though. So it's kind of a way to mark it, you know, say where hole. You know, we don't want anyone to step into it because, you know, a horse could step there, a deer could step there, and they could even break a leg perhaps. So I definitely want to get that filled in and keep an eye open because, you know, wherever you have a field, especially a relatively new field, you know, this field is, I'm guessing, I don't know, 10 to 20 years old. So it's not super new, but you can still have cavities open up from where you know, tree roots had been years ago, or where something had maybe rotted down under the soil. Maybe there's, you know, some sort of animal that's been burrowing there. So we just want to make sure that we keep an eye on the ground so that we don't have other holes that could pose dangerous hazards. So I've marked my hole here with a stick and I'll be back shortly to fill it in. So I've just carried a bucket of dirt here to the hole that I found this morning. I've got my shovel, and then I brought a little stake of some kind. I don't know if it's a 1x1. It's a random piece of lumber, but it will help me to actually tamp down the dirt so I can hopefully get it well compacted inside that hole so nobody else steps in it. I just finished up on the hole here. I filled it, I tamped it down really good, and then I covered it over with another big shovel of dirt. I've stomped it down, and it's very secure now. Wasn't too deep of a hole, but I'm glad to have it filled. I just finished my morning rounds. I have finished picking the paddock. Sweetheart's been turned back out. I didn't see any more signs of worms or, you know, parasites in any of the manure I picked. I saw a fresh pile in the feedlot where Sweetheart was eating, and so I was able to kind of give that a close look, and it doesn't match what I saw from like a consistency standpoint or even like the fecal matter. You know, hers are these small little balls, whereas what I found was a much larger pile. That could have been due from the dewormer that had kind of changed the process and the stomach and the formation of all those good things. But long story short, pretty sure it wasn't Sweetheart's pile that I saw the other day that had the signs of parasites. Again, I'm 99% sure it was Rocky, who I dewormed 3 days ago. So no more signs of any more parasites being expelled. And again, I know there are so many that you can't see with your eye, but these I could, and I've not seen any more, which is good. So yeah, one tip I wanted to mention with Sweetheart. So I told you, you know, after she had been in the feedlot eating, I had a fresh pile. And so if you're ever trying to isolate a particular pile, whether it's to gather to take for a fecal sample, or like I am, just sort of getting getting a sense of which horse that pile could have belonged to. By putting your horse in a closed area, such as our feedlot or a stall if you have one, sometimes that can be a really good way to isolate that particular horse, so that when they do go to the bathroom after, say, 30 to 60 minutes or more, you can then identify their particular pile or gather from it if you're gathering a sample for the vet. So that was just a little tip I wanted to share, because it was nice that I had a nice fresh pile that I knew only belonged to her because she was the only one that had been there. So yeah, great morning, and we've got a lot of work ahead of us. But the morning routine has been finished thus far. The horses are nibbling happily, and I'm going to wait a little longer today to bring Clover in. We had an overcast night, and so I'm going to let him graze for another couple of hours, and then I'll bring him into the dry lot for the height of the day. Now that we finished up working with the horses in the morning, everyone's been fed and turned out, we turned our attention to the fencing around our fruit area. We have fruit trees and bushes, and so we're putting up deer fencing. We began with the corner posts. We sunk them with concrete. I think they had each maybe even 2 bags of concrete to give more rigidity and stability to the corners. And then we moved on to digging the rest of the holes around the perimeter of the new garden area. And we then went ahead and tamped down and sunk in all of the other poles or posts. After that work was done, we could see our fence line was nice and straight. We then painted the posts black in preparation for adding the wire, which will be the last step, and that's yet to come. We'll be finishing that up in the coming days. One of the last things we had to work on this weekend was the stall door. This is the bottom Dutch door off of our stall front, and my husband is rebuilding the door with new planed fence boards, and we're going to be reusing as much of the hardware as possible. He is going to be rebuilding the door and then adding in metal woven wire for the insert so that the horses can see out of the door. And you know, here you can see we're adding some stain to it to help it match the color of the barn. And once it's dry, the metal insert is the last step. We had a great weekend here at the farm. We got a lot accomplished. Really happy to have that fencing going up around the fruit bushes and trees and the stall door. That will be so nice when the minis can see out of the door. It'll just make them much, much more content to stay inside the stall when the door is closed. And here's another beautiful sky. You know, it almost looks like there could be a little smoke in the sky. Hard to say, but it was a beautiful evening sunset, and I just had to share it. Check back soon and talk to you later. Bye, guys.